Hi, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. The damage from Hurricane Laura is still being tallied in Louisiana, particularly in rural areas where the storm's damage to agriculture was severe. We continue our coverage this week, starting with the storm's epicenter in Cameron Parish. Twila's Neil Melanson traveled to the town of Cameron, where one seafood operation just recently got going, only to be shut down by the hurricane's full fury.
Shellen DeLon is calling for help. He's trying to get his generator running at Tommy's Seafood's newly acquired property in Cameron, which was taking in shrimp and crabs before Laura hit. After a few adjustments, it fires right up. It's one more thing off the list that seems to keep growing. He's been meeting with roofers and other repair people to get this facility back up and running.
Even though it still looks a little rough, it looks night and day from the first time when the storm hit. And so, for the most part, we've got the building cleaned out, got our generator on site hooked up, and have our electricians. They'll be out here in the morning to finish hooking up our power. And so have water back to the place now. And we expect to be producing ice just in the next couple of days and hopefully be open by Monday. Already have a lot of fishermen who are ready to come back. Both crabbers and shrimpers, and so we've got them lined to come back on Monday.
Now, you might remember Shellen from my story with him a year ago. Fresh water was seriously damaging the crab intake at Tommy's Seafood in New Orleans, so they decided to get more product on the other side of the state.
We opened this facility in Cameron in May. The first week of May was our first day, so just a few months before the hurricane hit, so we weren't open here that long.
The place is in pretty good shape, at least compared to some other areas like this helicopter landing pad a quarter-mile away, which is definitely not seeing any landings anytime soon. Inside the ice house here, the water got to 5 feet, far less than expected, but enough to cause some serious cleanup.
Certainly didn't expect to see what we did coming back to this place. For being here only a few months in business, it really took a toll on us, but the important thing is, as soon as we got here, we started getting our hands dirty and decided we couldn't wait on insurance companies. We couldn't wait on anybody. We just had to start getting this place cleaned.
Tommy's employs 8 people here, not an insignificant number given this area's economy. Jennifer Piku manages the dock at Tommy's in Cameron and has been a shrimper and business owner in this area all her life. She said Laura was at least as bad as 2005.
The homes in Cameron are either not there or they're totally destroyed. There's quite a bit of damage. Homes that are still standing but not worth saving. There's very few homes that are still salvageable. Ours is one that is salvageable.
Worse than the property damage is the number of scuttled vessels from the storm. Many of the shrimpers and crabbers had uninsured boats, barely getting by as it was before the storm.
Crabbing, we did that for 3 months and it was fantastic. Great for the community, great for our fishermen. So we're hoping that we can do the same for the shrimpers.
Tommy's is leasing this place, which has been around a long time and weathered other storms. It has a mural famous to this area that lists all of the festivals and good things about Cameron. Restoration of this mural is on the list, just like restoration of this area is a must. Jennifer says she knows some folks won't come back, but she and her husband, Greg, are here to stay. To give you an idea of where I am, just on the other side of that spit of land is the Gulf of Mexico. And this waterway gives shrimpers and crabbers access not only to this facility, but to the town of Cameron, which is about a quarter-mile in that direction. It's a hope that they will be able to continue this way of life, which has always been part of this southwestern area of Louisiana. Hope against the fear that another storm may be soon. Reporting from the town of Cameron, I'm Neil Melanson.
Several agencies are still trying to fully calculate the damage to Louisiana's seafood industry. There are a number of ways that you can help them in the meantime. One is to make sure you're buying Louisiana seafood when you eat it. That money goes directly to supporting the people who bring it to us. We'll also include a link to the Gulf Seafood Foundation on our website at twilatv.org. Grant Parish has many of the traditional Louisiana row crops of corn, soybeans, and cotton. However, it's also known for its pecan orchards. As Twila's Carl Wiggers shows us, that crop fared far worse than neighboring fields during Hurricane Laura.
This is what's happening in Grant Parish weeks after Hurricane Laura has blown through this rural part of the state. Grant Parish Farm Bureau President Ryan Yerby says Laura was the worst storm that he's seen come through.
Isaac was a pretty rough one that tore up our cotton crop. But in my lifetime, there has never been a storm that has passed through this parish like this one. But the main thing that took a hit for Grant Parish was the pecan crop. Our pecan crop was totally devastated. I'm going to call it probably 100% loss. The trees were loaded up pretty good. They were nice and heavy, and when those winds came through, it stripped the trees of everything.
The aftermath was nothing new. Cutting your way with a chainsaw out of your driveway wasn't anything new, but that's nothing I thought I would ever experience being here. You know, Ryan's from here, but I've been here 12 years now, and the most we've ever had is the aftermath, when a hurricane turns into a tropical storm, and then you have, slight winds, maybe a tornado warning, or, some flood damage, but nothing like we experienced 2 weeks ago.
I got the history on this orchard.
That's the same experience for the Yerby's neighbor, Ben Littlepage, who helps run his family's pecan farm at McNeely Crossing.
I've never seen one like this ever before. And I talked to people that's older than me and hadn't seen one like this.
Littlepage, his family, and his friends have their work cut out for them as they pick up the pieces left behind after Hurricane Laura.
It's hard to get a good count, but 35 to 40% of our trees are damaged. We lost all our pecan crop for this year, as far as I can tell. What trees stayed up knocked the pecans on the ground.
So the wind came at the worst possible time. The limbs were the heaviest. You could see them. They were loaded down with the pecans. And of course, that was the time when the wind picked the whole top of the tree. We have trees that are in the 10 to 15-year-old stage, and it blew them over because their tops were so heavy, blew them out of the ground, so their root system came up.
So this will probably knock us 2 or 3 years before these trees recuperate, most of them, to get us back in some normal production.
Littlepage Farms will have to replace the trees they've completely lost. That will take much longer than 2 to 3 years. Littlepage says they'll push forward, but it will take some time to recover from the storm that the year 2020 has been for them.
Pecan business is a hard way to make a living, even in a good year. In the last couple of years, prices have been suppressed, and then we had the virus this year. But we're not going to give up. No, sir. As long as we can afford to keep going. It's not a soybean crop. You can't just replant it next year. It takes about 15 years to get a tree producing.
Grant Parish began harvesting soybeans this week. It's still too early to tell if there will be any long-term damage from Hurricane Laura. We'll follow up on this story in the coming weeks. There are a number of disaster programs available to farmers, ranchers, fishers, and timber owners to help mitigate some of the losses due to Hurricane Laura and the COVID-19 pandemic. But work is underway for a disaster bill in Congress to help as well. With that in mind, Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain met with Louisiana Farm Bureau President Jim Harper on Harper's Farm in Cheneyville. Harper and his brother grow sugarcane, soybeans, rice, and crawfish there. Harper and Strain talked about the inclusion of crawfish in the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program. The two also discussed what they can do to help the farmers and ranchers of this state recover from Hurricane Laura. Louisiana 5th District Congressman Ralph Abraham had his staff reach out to the Louisiana Farm Bureau to get an update on damage in parishes across the state. Both Strain and Harper say they are going to work to make sure Louisiana farmers and ranchers can stay in business to provide you with the cheapest, safest, and most abundant food supply in the world. The Louisiana Farm Bureau and the Department of Agriculture and Forestry also work together to help poultry farmers keep their flocks alive. After Hurricane Laura, power outages forced poultry farmers to use generators to run fans to cool poultry houses. The problem: not enough access to fuel to run those generators. In the days following the storm, the Department of Agriculture and Forestry hauled fuel to 118 farms in 10 parishes. Twila's Jennifer Finley put together this piece showing how it made a difference to one farmer.
This one here, we lost the end off of it. We started getting a lot of wind Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, and we lost our power about 2 o'clock Thursday morning. That's our electrical main and where the generator and all set up to power the houses. Our poultry houses are totally enclosed and climate controlled, and they're totally dependent on electricity. And we have the backup generators, and they run off of diesel fuel. And if we don't have electricity, the chickens die almost immediately.
This is a 125 kW generator, diesel, and it burns about 15 gallons per hour, 500-gallon tank, so you just do the math. And the problem is there's no fuel. There was no fuel anywhere to be obtained by any mechanism. And so we started getting the calls in, said we need help.
After the storm come through, I had 3 or 4 days supply of diesel on hand, but our suppliers were out of electricity. We couldn't get no diesel. The company had diesel. It's a 35-mile drive up there and sit in line for 2 or 3 hours and haul it back home. And my Farm Bureau president called me and told me about the diesel hotline, and I called it, and the next morning they brought diesel out here and have come every other day since then, and kept my tanks full. And it's been a big, that's just one thing. He's heading to put diesel in. Sure he is.
We have done a significant number of fuel missions. About 20% of our overall fuel missions have been to poultry houses across Louisiana. And if you look at the path of the storm from the coast all the way up to Shreveport and over to Monroe, this affected almost the entire poultry industry.
All right, you? There's 5, 6 farms within a 5-mile area of me, and we've all utilized the commissioner's fuel program. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I just can't say enough about what it's done for us. So it's helped in a bad situation. How good they've been. I called him at 8:20 this morning and told him that I was out of power again and needed him to come by when he come this way, and here it is 10:30 and he comes driving up. Can't beat that service. The commissioner provided the diesel hotline, and that was really our only good option. If it hadn't been for him doing that, it would have been hauling fuel around the clock. And when you're off on the road hauling fuel, you're not here taking care of what needs to be taken care of. So it's really been a blessing for us.
Every drop of fuel is precious. Without this, then you would lose all of the poultry here, and it would be just a tremendous public health disaster.
And I know we're blessed that we didn't have the damage that they had down south. But our livelihood depends on that. And it's been a lifesaver.
The Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry is working with the Federal Emergency Management Agency for funding to cover the fuel delivered to poultry farms. In times of need, it really helps to have someone there to help you through the hard times. For folks living and making a living in Southwest Louisiana, times are hard now, and they need money in hand to rebuild and continue to make a living. That's why Louisiana Farm Bureau insurance adjusters wasted no time getting out to residents of Calcasieu and Cameron parishes to pay claims hours after the storm, all while following CDC guidelines.
How you doing, Mr. Primo? My name is Chris Fontenot. I'm a senior claim representative with the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're here at Mr. David Primo's farm out in Hayes, Louisiana, assessing damages to buildings, home, rice bins due to Hurricane Laura.
I have the smaller bins stayed intact. The rice seems to be good. The other 2 larger bins, one, the 42-foot bin, it's a total loss. The larger bin, I'm not sure yet. I'm waiting on a generator I've been waiting on 4 or 5 days. Should get here We're going to try to run some air through it to see if we can salvage it.
We're just through the harvesting season, or almost through the harvesting season, so he's got crops in his bins at this time. So we're assessing loss of his crops that have been harvested already. We're assessing bins, we're assessing farm buildings, barns, homes, and try to get him started on recovery.
When someone walks up to you, like today, and you've been around them, unfortunately you've had to use their services, it's relaxing because you know the people and you know they're going to understand what you have.
People appreciate you coming out and meeting them after having some kind of troubles, either a hurricane or any kind of loss, and just going through the motions, and not just financially, but just helping them step by step recover.
The people that work for Farm Bureau learn you, and of course you learn them. And the reason you're learning, because different people come into the picture, and as you go forward, you learn one another. It all works out, really.
We have local people working with local clients. Other insurance companies have people you can call on the phone or internet or whatever, but we have boots on the ground here, and we're here as local people. Most of these people, we've already probably known them for a prior claim or what have you, so we've already got a relationship there.
I've had nothing but good experiences, and I'm a satisfied customer. I can only tell you that.
After Hurricane Rita, we were out there. People had not heard from other companies. We were out there, boots on the ground, right after the storm, and providing a service and reassuring people that we were going to be there to take care of their damages. And again, we're not going to fall short. We've done that before. We've got a long history of taking care of our clients, and we're going to do that again. Real service, real people, to me, means exactly what the statement is. We have real clients who need a face-to-face. They want to see they want some personal touch there, and that's what Farm Bureau provides, a personal touch where we're actually there communicating, and it's not just a phone call or what have you, but again, like I said, we've had these clients that have been farmers and been policyholders for tens of years, and they pay for coverage, and we provide them real service by our in-house adjusters or whatever we have to provide to get them back to normal. It's awful enough to have a storm, but again, with the pandemic of COVID-19, so we've had those issues to deal with, and we've stepped up to the plate and continue with our protection of our clients and ourselves by wearing masks, social distancing, hand washing, different things like that, because we can't ignore those things. Those are real things that we've got to provide a service to our client, but we got to protect them also.
I've enjoyed my relationship with Farm Bureau, I really have.
With Farm Bureau, obviously you're going to get personal service. You see that we're on the ground taking care of our clients. Other companies may not be there, may hear from them in weeks. We're here taking care of our customers now.
While we focused on damage to Primo's rice crop and horse barn, his home sustained damage as well. When I was leaving Primo's to come back to Baton Rouge, I saw Fontenot on top of Primo's roof looking for any damage that may not be so obvious. If you would like to learn more about Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance, visit our website at twilatv.org. Still to come, we tell you all the time that farmers feed the world. Well, after Hurricane Laura, they cooked as well. But first, a hurricane story that may leave you feeling sheepish. It's not bad. Stay with us.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are. Put a Dorito right here.
I got a fish! I got a fish!
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
It's a well-known fact that here in Louisiana, sugarcane is more than just a crop. It's a way of life. It creates more than 16,000 jobs across the state and an additional $3 billion boost to our state's economy. And Louisiana's cane families always give back to the communities where we live, work, and play. Louisiana Sugar Cane, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugar cane, sweet sugar cane.
I'm a farmer.
I am a farm wife.
I am a cowboy.
I am a grass farmer.
I'm a businesswoman.
I'm a conservationist.
I am an advocate.
I am a voice for Louisiana farmers.
I'm always learning.
I'm a husband.
I'm a mom.
I am a dad.
I'm a granddad.
I am a consumer.
I grow the food that feeds your family, and I'm proud of it. I am Farm Bureau.
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 We are Farm Bureau.
Following Hurricane Laura's landfall on August 27th, you saw stories from every major news outlet about people displaced by the storm. But there were animals displaced as well. That includes a flock of sheep from McNeese State University that found a new temporary home with the LSU Ag Center.
After Hurricane Laura, I was contacted by Dr. Chip Lemieux from McNeese. He needed a place to place 28 ewes that they use for breeding. They're Gulf Coast natives. The Ag Center had the space. We had the opportunity to help them, and we did. We told them to bring them on, and so Monday they arrived. They brought 28 breeding age ewes. We're going to just house them on grass. That's all they need right now. And you know, they were eager to get here. They have no electricity in McNeese, so there was no water. There was no. There were no pens left for them. Their barn is just a pile of rubble, the sheep barn. So until all of that is fixed, I guess we'll house them here, and we're glad to have them.
That really is a great example of folks helping one another. McNeese did more than just get their sheep to the LSU Ag Center. The folks there partnered with the Louisiana Pork Producers Association and the National Pork Board to hand out lunches at McNeese. Dr. Chip Lemieux was involved in that as well. Still to come on Twila, serving those in need after Hurricane Laura. Stay with us.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program. And you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry, covering half our state, all of our hearts.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses.
heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
More than 700 meals. That's what volunteers with the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation and Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance Companies handed out in Lake Charles after Hurricane Laura. That was in one day at one location, the Calcasieu Parish Farm Bureau office. It's just another example of those in agriculture uniting to help those in need.
We're at the Calcasieu Farm Bureau office. We're here cooking today along with some of the Farm Bureau agents, and we're going to feed our members and anyone that wants to stop by and needs a hot meal.
We're cooking hamburgers and jambalaya for really anybody who wants to drive up and get some. Our members definitely, but general public, the workers on the power line.
Thank you.
And thank you too.
We got hit pretty hard. This is my first hurricane down here. I wasn't here for Rita, but I've had several people that were here for Rita, and they all said that the damage seems to be worse than it was for Rita. So it's pretty widespread for our community.
As we all know what's happened over here in the Lake Charles, Louisiana area and other parishes as well, but we're trying to be here to help out like everybody else. There's just such a tremendous need over here, and we're here today to cook. We're going to cook probably 500 plus hamburgers for the local community, along with a couple of Farm Bureau agents that are here to cook a big pot of jambalaya and try and feed as many people as possible. So that's what our goal is today.
We're here just trying to provide food now. We've been providing service, trying to get our adjusters out there. We brought in adjusters from across the state, across some southern states. So we're here on many different fronts, providing food, drinks, waters, clothing, diapers, whatever we can. We've got all kinds of things for people, and again, obviously the insurance side as well. So we're here for people.
It's good to let our members and this community know the Farm Bureau is here to help them in any way they can.
Farm Bureau is a community-based, farm-based organization. We pride ourselves on being a part of the community every day, and this is surely a part of it. But in general, it's just the culture of our area, and we're doing this work every day whenever we possibly can, so we're glad to do it.
We're all thinking about you, we're here to help you, and the whole community is with you. And if the Farm Bureau Federation can help any of these farmers in this area, contact us and we'll do what we can.
Since then, the Farm Bureau cook teams, as they're affectionately called here, have held similar events in Rapides and Beauregard parishes. To learn more about Farm Bureau, visit our website at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this edition of Twila. Be sure to join us next week when we'll take you to Morehouse Parish and introduce you to the women behind Four Sisters Rice. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn those notifications on as well. For all of us here at Twila, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.